Turn it on and rip the knob off.
Hey guys, welcome back once again to the All Access tier and the Watch Along series here on patreon.com/WrestleCopia. Ray Russell, Steve Eckstadt back again for another good one. We're going to have a look back in time to the In Your House February 96 pay-per-view. I think this is the last pay-per-view before they actually started naming them. Of course, up next will be Good Friends, Better Enemies. I think when this video was released, it was called Rage in the Cage, which kind of plays on the main event, Bret Hart defending the title against former champion Diesel. We'll talk all about that as the show gets going. Steve, welcome back to the Watch Along series.
Thanks for having me. I don't know about another good one, but we'll take it. It's In Your House. I never got these, so
you never got them. You never got them mentally, or you never got them financially, or both.
Financially, my parents were cheapskates.
They must have been cheapskates. No offense, no offense to Steve's parents, but they must have been cheapskates. These were $9.99. Come on, do something for your kid.
To be honest with you, I don't even know if they knew. I don't even know if they knew the price.
Right. Whenever an In Your House or a pay-per-view I really wanted popped up before I had a job, I would just go do landscaping with my grandfather and his brother. They did a lot of landscaping in very rich suburbs. And I was like, oh, there's an In Your House today. And he'd always ask me every weekend, you want to go work? Hell no, I don't want to go do that all day long, because they'd work 8, 10, 12-hour days. But if it was a pay-per-view weekend, yeah, I'll go work this weekend. So I kind of funded my own source there. But the problem was In Your House was so cheap, so affordable, that after an hour of work, I was done. Like, I wanted to go home, but I couldn't, right? I had to do the whole day's work. But it's like, I just wanted enough to watch the pay-per-view. You've seen them all by now, though, I'm sure, right?
Oh, yeah, I've seen them. I know what I'm watching.
Okay.
I think the biggest thing is, like, if we go from a Royal Rumble to the very next month, it's like, we just got one, that type of deal. So,
oh, yeah. I get you.
It was hot and heavy. It was hot and heavy with the pay-per-views. Thank God I never asked for WCW. That wasn't going to happen.
So what we're going to do is a special added attraction here, if you want to call it that. I've pulled up my old In Your House countdown, the free-for-all, on the video cassette. I've queued it up to exactly 22 minutes, so anybody out there who might have the original copy with the free-for-all, or I'm not sure if they ever released it overseas with the free-for-all, or I don't know if you found it online, whichever way you're watching it. If you have the free-for-all, you can queue it up to exactly 22 minutes. I'm going to press play right now, Steve. And what we have at this time is Tatanka making his way out to take on Jake the Snake Roberts as part of the free-for-all. Of course, we saw the return of Jake the Snake Roberts. We hadn't seen him since WrestleMania XIII in the WWF. He returned last month at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I just watched him on Raw. He looked pretty rough. So I'm not expecting much here out of Jake. Tatanka, not so much. I don't want to give any spoilers to one of our future episodes of the Monday Warfare, but he actually gets the Undertaker in a pile driver.
Right. Yeah, I know.
I was always a fan of Tatanka. I liked him. He just got a little too chubby, and it kind of took away some of the appeal for me. I was like, man, this dude's getting lazy. He got with the $1 Million Man and got money and started eating better, I guess.
Man, I guess so. Had to work the gimmick, man. Had to work the gimmick. Hey, man, that's what you do when you make a few bucks. You know, I loved Tatanka when he came in. I was a little upset because the vignettes started, he was Chris Chavis. And you can relate to that. It's a regular human being's name. And then they told the story of how he became Tatanka. He, by the time the vignettes were over. So by the time he debuted, he had the red streak in his hair. He was Tatanka, completely different from the Chris Chavis, or Chavis, depending on how you want to go about the name. I've heard it said both ways. I like that character in the vignettes. The Tatanka thing got too Native American for me, not to knock the Native Americans, but I just felt like we were beyond that, in the world at that point, like trying to go back. It's almost like trying to go back and redo the Samoan thing, I guess, in the 90s too. But I wasn't against Tatanka. Yeah. It was just, he kept getting put in there with Matt and had a lot of matches that weren't really clicking with certain guys. Rick Martel's a tremendous worker, but their matches really weren't much of anything. I saw them several times on the house shows. Obviously, they worked a couple pay-per-views. Just not, wow, Look at Jake's shirt here. It just looks like he found a green sleeveless shirt and pulled out maybe a burlap sack. Might be an old Damien sack there. It's pretty cheap.
He's looking rough, man. He's looking rough.
Not exactly in shape is the Snake Man.
To go back to your point on Tatanka, I know they actually tried out quite a few Native American
Vince had that plan for quite a long time. Yes, he did.
Yeah, he wanted to bring in another Indian, Native American. So Tatanka fit the bill. I liked him. I'm
not knocking him.
It's too like I see where you're going with there, but I feel like if that's what you wanted, it had to get to that point.
The only thing was you could get past that because they didn't really dwell on it. Even though we did the Indian dance comeback and things, it wasn't as Chief J Strongbow-y as Strongbows was.
Right. I think it was modernized enough.
Yeah, and guys like Wahoo, even though they had Native American heritage, they didn't play it. Like, Wahoo wasn't going around doing dances. You know what I mean? He was just a Native American that kicked people's asses. So I was fine with things like that. But Tatanka here, I mean, I didn't really care. It wasn't that the gimmick offended me at all. It was just like, I just wanted to see a wrestler. I really got into the guy in the vignette. But when he debuted, I thought he had some decent matches. Obviously, his run with Shawn Michaels in early '93, thanks to Marty Jannetty screwing up, really helped Tatanka's career for me as a fan. I really enjoyed those matches, and I'm not saying Shawn was the one that got Tatanka over. Yeah, that was really. I hated the finish. Hated the finish.
I did too. I really felt like Tatanka had all the momentum and actually maybe should have won the match.
I agree. I would have gave him the belt, and then Shawn could have won it back at some point, no problem. I mean, but I don't. But then again, you never know. Are they going to stick the belt on Tatanka because he was undefeated, and he was undefeated for quite a while after that. And if they need to get the belt off of him, what do? You don't want to defeat him and take the belt from him. You're killing everything he's got, all in one night. So I get why they did it, but they booked himself into that corner.
Yeah,
although I guess you can't really blame them. They needed a big match. They were thinking Shawn and Marty coming out of the Rumble, and then Marty got canned because Shawn told some bullshit stories the next day at Raw. And, they had to find something really fast, and they came up with Tatanka, which was a good choice. It was a good match. And I agree with you there.
I agree.
It was his heel turn I never got into. He was just slow, methodical, boring. He couldn't do any of the few things that got him over as a babyface, and he wasn't much of a wrestler. He's kind of huffing it here, just trying to hit the ropes.
Yeah, he's struggling. You can tell he's rusty. He hasn't been doing a lot of work. I know have we seen him on Raw yet? Yeah, no, we haven't.
No. He came back at the Rumble. He's been gone since the fall because of some allegations being made. They had to take him off TV. I don't know if it's the court nonsense is over yet at this point, but Vince has let him back on TV, so I'd have to imagine so. But I agree. Tatanka during that time off just let himself go even more. Came back at the Rumble. If you remember at the Rumble, he came out to his old Native American theme. The money part wasn't involved. So you had to wonder if they were even planning to stick him back with DiBiase initially here. But with Sid gone, it seems like he's back in the good graces of the $1 Million Corporation.
I loved his big elbow there. I always enjoyed that move for some reason. He looked good doing it.
The best thing Tatanka did was take Enziguri's from Bam Bam while he was dancing. Those were my favorite spots.
I actually like that match too. I love the match at the Rumble. It sucks we didn't get the payoff with him and Borga.
Yeah. But, that's another match that got changed on us. Really couldn't do nothing about that. That was an injury to Borga. That video's actually out there. We'll have to do that sometime here on Patreon, Steve. We'll have to do that New York City Rumble with the Borga and Rick Steiner match with the injury, and then the New York City Royal Rumble match. It's kind of.
I maybe reviewed that one day before.
Yeah,
it's in the archives somewhere,
right? Someplace. DiBiase laying it in to Jake the Snake, sneaking it on the outside. Jake and DiBiase, no strangers to one another, going back many years.
Absolutely not. These two are just so out of shape right now.
Yeah, it's I don't know who made this call to go find the two most out of shape guys possibly on the entire roster and stick them out here. And this, remember, this is free right now on the preview guide. This is selling the pay-per-view. This is supposed to make you want to order the pay-per-view. Probably not your best choice. I get it with the name value in Jake. Everybody knows Jake. Even my grandma, who didn't watch wrestling, she knew a handful of guys because I watched wrestling every week. She knew the Warrior, obviously Hogan. She knew the Boss Man. I think Bobby Heenan she even knew. She knew Brother Love because he was on there every week, and she just found that hysterical. And she knew the guy with the snake, so she would have known this. So I think he's just a household name as far as the old school fan goes. So I get what they were going with there. And I would even maybe left Jake in this match, but Tatanka was probably not the best choice of opponent.
Jake out here with my dad's shirt on. Like, dude looks rough. Holy shit. He's
not doing too well. He did at least go and put some dye in that mustache and hair. He's not looking as old as he did a month prior. You know, I'm trying to remember how old Jake would have been here. He wouldn't have been nearly as old as you would imagine the way he looks.
Going for end of the trail.
DDT. Nice little spot
DDT.
there. Yeah. Tries for the...
struggling to roll him over.
Or as Bobby Heenan would call it, the papoose to go. And Jake slides out and nails the DDT.
I think the problem with Jake here is when he was in shape and, young, he... doing the slow methodical was on purpose. Now doing the slow methodical is because he can't do what he used to do.
Right. He's almost moving faster because he has to move slower, but it's not pretty. And Jake's like 40. I would have to think Jake's probably roughly 40 years old here. And you have to think about some of the guys that are 40 or beyond 40 now that can still compete. Think about that. I mean, 40 years, I'm Jake's age. I'm here a little old, just a few months older than what Jake is here. And oh man, there it is.
I can move faster than I'm about to be 35 in July.
The albino python. Was this
That's
Revelations?
Cool yeah, I don't think they've given the name yet because the Raw I just watched, I think on the 26th, he was on Action Zone the day prior. So it would have been a week after this where they did the interview where he actually named it.
And so Jake picks up the win there in about 5.5 minutes on the pre-show as he lets the future Revelations crawl all over Tatanka. And we'll move fast forward ahead to the actual pay-per-view. So I hope everybody's had time to go queue up that WWE Network and the In Your House pay-per-view.
Thank you for that. I never seen that match before, and I'll probably never see it again. That was terrible.
That was not one to write home about. Neither guy at their best at this point. As we're going to get going.
We got to do the countdown, and then we'll get to the age thing, because I didn't realize this till recently, but we'll talk about it after the countdown here.
Yeah, I hope everybody has it all queued up. Get past that pesky commercial ad at the beginning of the pay-per-view. It's In Your House 6 from February 1996, February 18th, 1996 to be exact. Cue it up now, and let's get going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and press play. And the World Wrestling Federation for over 50 years, that's a load of shit, at least in the incarnation we're seeing right now. And here we have Sunny on the beach. Viewer discretion will be advised.
Anyway, are you going to pick this up or?
No, we're good. We're good.
All right. Well, speaking of the guy on the screen here, the Hitman, when he got injured against Goldberg, he was 42 years old. And that's crazy to think about. Because just think of how much we missed out on. If WCW folded, I'm sure Vince would have done everything he could to get him back earlier than he did. And probably could have got some tremendous matches out of him with some of those newer guys like Kurt Angle and maybe The Rock, stuff like that.
You have to think about Bret's health, though. That's the issue.
Well, no, if he didn't... that's what I'm saying. If he didn't get in, like when he was injured, he was only 42.
Right.
So let's say the injury never happened and he was okay and he just rode it out to the end of WCW. And what my whole point is I didn't realize he was that young. I know 42 doesn't seem like it's young in the terms of wrestlers dying off at these, 55, 56, 60. But I mean, look at Shawn Michaels and some of these guys. They were still going at 47, 48. Look at Edge now. He's 46 years old. And he still looks good in the ring. So
yeah, I mean, given Bret's offense and bump style,
the way he works,
yeah, I think he would have been able to, obviously go certainly for a few years beyond that. My problem with Bret, I think, would have been near the end of his career. Would he have been able to let it go? Would he have been able to agree to do jobs on the way out? Well, I don't see him being tougher than me.
I'm sure he'd do business. I don't recall that being too much of an issue. I just think it was Shawn Michaels that was the issue.
Right.
And then you get to WCW and everybody else is doing it, so why the hell not you try to pull the same shit? I mean, I would. If I had the ability to do it, I'm doing the same thing. It may not be right, but at the same time, who gives a shit? It's a sinking ship.
Jerry Lawler out here with Vince McMahon to announce the show, and Lawler's got to feel right at home here. They're in Louisville, Kentucky at the Louisville Gardens, drawing 5,500 fans, smaller arena. They ran that show every week in the Memphis territory. And out
Is
comes
Memphis still going at this time?
Oh yeah, the USWA was around till about the end of 97, and it wasn't too long after that the Power Pro popped up. And we go back to the Rumble here and see the Kid costing Razor the Intercontinental title. Goldust, of course, the new champion. Here's the Kid coming out on Superstars to taunt the bad guy with a baby bottle, and there he's sticking it in Razor's face and beating him with a stroller.
He's not even hitting with
no,
the
he's
stroller.
He's really taking it careful on him. And again, now a guitar shot to the back of Razor's head by the Kid.
So it looks like our boy Jeff Jarrett's been relegated to Superstars. Okay.
Yeah, and Jeff Jarrett's already actually out too, I think, at this point with an injury. Thanks to, you want to guess? Ahmed Johnson.
I'm shocked. Ahmed injured somebody? No way.
And this marks the first In Your House or any pay-per-view of that matter to take place between the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. So they've got a new dynamic to work with here this year. And they do a good job telling some stories to get from the Rumble to this pay-per-view to WrestleMania. And here we see the Kid taking on Razor in their own little mini feud while Razor's also feuding with Goldust. So this is a stopgap in between Rumble and WrestleMania, which was also supposed to feature Razor and Goldust in a Miami street fight. And this was just a little stop in between. So I thought they did a good job factoring this in. And the Kid just picked up a win, a solid, clean win over Hakushi on Raw going into this to give him some more credibility as far as being able to get a win here tonight.
I want that foam finger right there.
I don't. I hated foam fingers. That was like...
They're sought after.
There are all these merchandise. They sold all this merchandise back then. And every time I went with somebody and they went to the concessions and they came back, do you want to know what they brought me? Something foam. And I'd be like, God, motherfuck. I mean, like all of the shit you could go back there and bring me, and it was always something foam related. The first time it was the green Macho Man finger. My dad went to concessions. He probably went to go smoke one time. He would take us sometimes to the show, but he never really cared for the show, so he'd go smoke, maybe go buy a beer or something like that. He'd sit there for most of the show, but don't get me wrong, but he come back one time with an Undertaker tombstone, and I just groaned. I mean, I didn't do it visually so he could see it, but inside I groaned. I'm like, oh, man, all the shit. You come back with that. It's like, what am I going to do with this? The only thing I got that I was happy that I got was a Big Boss Man nightstick, and I actually picked that up after he was gone from the company. It was like $3 because they were trying to get rid of him. And I said, oh, shit. And I knew he was gone. He'd been gone about 6 months. It was late in 93. Maybe the summer of 93. As Razor sends the Kid flying to the floor. I do. I think I still have the Macho Man finger. I probably have all of them. Probably. In a closet at my grandparents' house.
Bust them out. I'll buy them off of you.
I don't know. I don't know the shape they're in anymore. I got to point that out.
Do some investigative reporting
Yes.
and let me know.
Sure. I know my cousin, she once had the Tatanka, the Tomahawk, as the Kid with the springboard clothesline. Air Pillman by the 1-2-3 Kid. Holy shit.
That's
Air
right.
Pillman here.
Pillman. The Kid's selling like crazy, or was there initially for Razor, bumping
Yeah, he
all
was
over the
taking
place.
some awesome bumps. I didn't want to take
he
away
is.
from this match. I just kind of got lost in the story we were talking about, and the Kid's been doing a great job. And it's not just because it's click on click. Kid looked really good against Hakushi as well. It's crazy to think he won't be here much longer.
Yeah, it's all these guys. Both of these guys.
Yeah, both of these guys, yeah.
This is it. This is our last pay-per-view, right?
For the Kid?
Oh, Razor got skipped at Mania as like a FU, and then he gets the In Your House, right?
Yeah, he does the job to Vader on the way out.
Is this it for the Kid?
I mean, I hate to say yeah and then be wrong, but as far as I remember, I don't remember the Kid doing anything of any importance after this. He did the house show loop. He was supposed to work Razor.
A bottle and a diaper.
Well, they were going to continue this match, this Crybaby match on the house show tour, but that's during Razor's suspension. And I actually went to that show. And so substituting for Razor on all of that house show loop was Roddy Piper. So it was Roddy Piper versus the Kid in a Crybaby match. It was very entertaining, to say the least. Obviously, Piper wasn't taking all these these kicks, but he still made the match fun. It was comedic purposes only, but it was good stuff.
I'm sure.
Razor looking for the edge,
excellent.
And the Kid having none of it.
Ooh,
oh, the Kid is taking some crazy bumps. He's doing it for his buddy, the bad guy. DiBiase going in there for some talcum powder. He may give Razor cancer here. Be careful with this stuff, right? That's Johnson & Johnson in the eyes. And Razor goes blind from the powder. I think the referee had to have seen that. Razor blinded from the powder as the Kid on the top rope. What are we going to get here?
Was it okay since this is a Crybaby match? You can use baby items.
Oh, is that the rule? Well, shit.
Hell, I don't know. I'm just asking.
I would have brought a crib to the ring and started fucking slamming it on him.
I mean,
Razor kicks out from that
in front of Tim White there.
Yeah, the Kid. This match has been all Kid. I mean, even when he's taking the bumps or on the offense, looked really good. That missile drop kick after Razor took that shot of powder to the eyes. Tim White just does what he's told.
Up there. Oh yeah, they all do, right?
It is what it is.
Except maybe Tommy Young. He probably does what he wants to do.
Well, he did what he wanted to do. Standing drop kick by the 1-2-3 Kid. Not a bad match at all. Very good, honestly. I was curious if it was going to be slow and plodding. The Kid climbing up to the top again. As Gorilla would say, going to the well maybe once too often here. No, he hits it. I'm very shocked. Connects with the splash off the top rope. Yeah, and gets a 2 count. Kid really came to work here tonight. Trying to keep that job. Stay out of the doghouse.
Did he get fired or?
I don't know that he got fired. I don't really know what went on with. I don't think he jumped because of Hall and Nash. I think there were substance abuse issues they were concerned with, and that kind of led to. I don't know that he got fired. I don't know. When we get there in the Observer, obviously we'll know. But I think it was just more maybe they let his contract go. I'm not really sure what happened. I
know there's a big stink about the Kid, and Vince plays games. They sent him a release form type deal. The Kid did or something, and Vince waited like 2 or 3 weeks to sign it because he knew Hog Wild was coming up for WCW and he didn't want him to show up there, so he waited for that. Just your typical shit that I'm sure we'll talk about in way more depth once we get there.
Yeah, on the Monday Warfare show, and absolutely.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm pretty sure the Kid was free in June, if I remember right, and he doesn't show up till August something. So Vince was definitely messing with him and stopping him. And I can't blame him after.
No, right.
You lose Hall and Nash. You don't want a third guy almost immediately right afterwards. So stall it, kill the momentum of it a little bit, I guess. But
I can't imagine what this did for Shawn Michaels' paycheck. 3 of his best friends jump to the opposition. You had to figure Vince probably would have gave Shawn whatever he asked for to keep him on the roster at this point. Oh
yeah, hell, he did that anyway.
Well, that's true.
Sent him home.
Yeah, he was loving him some Shawn Michaels way before this, and the Kid we're doing a sleeper spot here. What's that? Jim Ross did what now?
Didn't Jim Ross tell the story? Like every time they did financials, they asked, "What about Shawn's contract? Don't mess with it." And it was like $500,000 just to keep him at home and not go to
right.
WCW.
Oh yeah.
Down years.
You meant after he retired? I got you.
Yeah. So there's no way he was letting Shawn go. No way.
And the kid
Could
wearing.
you imagine WCW with Shawn? Oh my God.
You want to talk about inmates running the asylum? It would have gotten even crazier.
Oh my God.
With Shawn Michaels over there pitching.
Could you imagine Shawn and Hogan together trying to run the show? Oh.
No, that would have never have happened. I would imagine they would probably ran Hogan out of the company at some point after Bischoff left anyway. Of course, Vince Russo winds up doing that.
Talk about interesting. So fantasy booking there. Not even fantasy booking, just fantasy running a company with those massive egos.
Yeah,
good luck.
It's insane. Razor down for the count here in the sleeper hold by the kid. Not really buying this.
I'm not either. I mean, he's fixing his hair and getting it out of his mouth and all that stuff. I hate when they do that. I get it. It's probably annoying, but at the same time, if you're in a sleeper and you're trying to fall asleep, or that's the whole idea, why are you adjusting your trunks?
Yeah, that's my big pet peeve, the old adjust your trunks after. If you do it once a match, maybe it's not noticeable, but sometimes people do it, depending on what they're wearing repeatedly. It's very annoying, and it takes away from the match and the believability as Razor crotches the kid. Another disqualification in normal matches. Apparently this Crybaby match, Tim White letting things go a little bit here as the kid gets crotched over the top rope by Razor to break the sleep. That's one way to break a sleeper hold.
Not a legal way to break the sleeper hold. I know there's a match on the Grenade where Rotunda's just constantly adjusting his singlet, and it's annoying. Like, he's taking bumps, but his singlet rides up, so he has to fix it. Like, Doc's kicking his ass, and he's constantly adjusting it. It's annoying. Just leave it alone.
Kid going over for the cover, even though he's the one that just got crotched. Nope. Razor has recovered from the sleeper as he kicks out here. Yeah, what's unfortunate with the Razor Ramons situation is he decides to jump. He puts in his notice with Vince McMahon, and lo and behold, the same exact day, wouldn't you know it, Razor failed a drug test, something he had never done before ever. Not because maybe he wasn't taking any drugs, but obviously, there was a reason now. And he was suspended. And Razor pops the kid with a great left hand there, a great spot. Kid ducks the right and eats the left. Or as Bischoff would say, he bit it hard.
He hit the deck hard on that one.
Yeah, he sure did.
Well, of course.
What happened there? Razor looked like he was going for the back superplex, and the kid knocked him away. Moonsault coming out. No, reverse body block. Razor rolls through. 1, 2. Kid kicks out.
Really decent match here. These guys came to work against each other.
Oh, yeah.
That's the one thing you can give the Clique is when they wrestled each other, you knew it was going to be decent because they're going to be more than willing to sell and take stuff that they probably wouldn't for 98% of the rest of the roster. So
at the same time, that's unfortunate. They're not really helping the rest of the roster get over to the degree some of these guys are over when they do that. And Razor catches the kid. Looks like the fall. Oh, we're getting a super fall away slam here, maybe off the middle rope. Razor teasing it anyway. Kid's gonna go flying, Steve.
Oh yeah.
Came down hard. Didn't fly as far as I thought. He came down hard on the back.
He hit the deck hard.
He sure did. And the kid has had a lot of injuries, injury issues, in recent months in the company. That's another problem Vince was worried about with the kid, is durability. As the bad guy says, that's it.
He's a small guy and he's reckless abandon out there, so the injuries are going to pile up when you're smaller like that.
DiBiase distracting Razor so the kid can go over to the powder. Is the bad guy going to be blinded a second time? We'll see here. Oh, the old cornet Paul E spot from Bash 89 kicks the powder into the kid's face, and I think that's it. That's it, Chico. This could do it. Razor's Edge. Boom! I wish they still did that move.
I did too.
1,
especially the jobbers. There really are no jobbers.
Right. Razor pulls the kid up. Could you imagine in today's society I can't imagine the release form the job guys would have to sign to come in and do the jobs so that they couldn't sue for, complaining about all the injuries they suffered during the matches, So that's another thing you got to worry about in 2021.
Yeah.
He pulls the kid up from the razor's edge. Gets the 2 count. What a bad guy this bad guy is. He's going to razor's edge the kid not once, but twice to send a message to the Punk who turned on him back in the fall for the almighty $1. 2 razor's edges, and that's the 1, the 2, and the 3. And the bad guy, Razor Ramon, picks up the win. 12 minutes and 1 second. The victory goes to Razor, which means the kid can now be diapered and fed a bottle. What a silly stipulation.
Embarrassing. I guarantee there's only 3 other guys he's doing this for in the company.
Shoves it in the kid's face. Oh. It's homogenized. Oh, we're going to get some powder with that diaper. Always good to do that if the kid's got a rash. The kid comes off as somebody who might have a rash down there. For other reasons, perhaps. DiBiase coming in to stop things, and Razor powder to the face of the $1 Million Man. And DiBiase goes blind. DiBiase out here in back-to-back matches, now that I think about it. He's got his ass up in the air. Hilarious.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do this. Nope.
Oh my gosh, I do this all day for the paychecks these guys were getting. You can do this 3 times on Sunday, all day long. And the bad guy, diapers, the one, and a little powder streak down the body as well. Just for good. The kid's probably, you asshole. Damn it, Scott.
Oh, man. They're just going to the back counting checks and finding their next fix, probably.
So this was supposed to set up Razor moving on to WrestleMania, as you know, the Miami Street fight with Goldust. That would have been intriguing. Too bad they didn't film that before he got suspended. Maybe that would have made it to the Hidden Gems at some point. But Razor gets suspended in the middle of the tag team title tournament where he teamed with Savio in the first round, winds up getting suspended, and Savio has to replace Razor with the Ringmaster of all people in the next round of that, and we'll talk about that on Monday Warfare when we get there. But Razor basically pulled out of WrestleMania, pulled out of the tag team title tournament. He's really just, he's being punished, obviously, for trying to, he's not going to get that WrestleMania payday, which is what his plan was all along, to get that big payday on the way out of the company. And Vince puts the kibosh on that.
Good on Vince.
Meanwhile, his buddy Diesel gets to work WrestleMania. So Diesel gets to work Mania because he's already in the middle of the storyline with The Undertaker, and I don't think Vince was going to screw with that.
Yeah, he's not going to screw over The Undertaker.
He's going to cry. He's going to cry. I think the kid gets up. He's celebrating. I don't know why he thinks he's won the match. I don't really know why that. He finally looks down and realizes he has a diaper on. And now the kid is going to cry. And that's the big payoff here as he kicks the powders from the ring. My wife hates the smell of baby powder. She would have hated to be involved in this match. As the kid rips the diaper off, flings the diaper out. Do you have that diaper? Have you bought that diaper on eBay? Because it looked like it went in the crowd, Steve.
No, definitely not. I don't want.
You don't want
I'm not
anything Sean Waltman's touched?
I'm not about the ring worn. That's not my gimmick. I don't like it. It's kind of weird. I don't want dudes wrestling tights. I think we've had this conversation before, but maybe something like a Rick Rude with those unique airbrush tights that he had.
We have Raymond Rougeau in the back with Sonny. Sonny-looking Sonny-rific here. And Raymond Rougeau looks like Raymond Rougeau. I don't think Raymond Rougeau aged. I don't even know if he aged recently. Like before the COVID, when he was like up there, they were announcing the French announce teams. Raymond's just looked like Raymond for years. He looks like he could go right here. And he did from time to time. They tried to set up angles for him to work up in the Montreal area.
I know he had a boxing match with Owen Hart when they went back to Montreal, I think. I know him and his brother had some issues, right?
I think they still have the issues, I believe.
That's unfortunate.
Man, Sunny was so perfect back here. If she could have just stayed this way in time all these years later, oh my gosh.
I know.
She could have made so much money outside of this company if she had just kept her head on straight and thought about it. They're sweeping the powders out of the ring for the next match. We just saw a clip during the free-for-all. Jake the Snake invaded the 900 number area. Sunny, she likes snakes, but maybe she doesn't like them that big. I don't know, though. You never know with Sunny.
Who knows? I guess it depends on what you have to give or offer.
And out next is Triple H, led to the ring by Elizabeth, what does this say? Hilden. Sorry, I had to read my notes here. Another young lady is
see her, as Macho Man would say, all the way live. If you just Google her name,
I'm sure. I'm going to go to her Wikipedia here in a minute. Triple H making his way down. This is a rematch from the free-for-all from the Royal Rumble pay-per-view when Duke Droese beat Triple H on a reverse decision after Triple H was caught using a foreign object to pick up the pin. And then, of course, that led to Triple H being number 1 in the Rumble, Droese number 30. Droese goes out in a minute. Triple H lasts damn near the entire duration and loses, so he's a little grumpy. He wants some revenge. He thought maybe if he got that number 30, he would have easily had the Rumble won. And so he comes out on Superstars a few weeks later and attacks the Garbage Man and cuts his hair. All those locks cut right off the top. And now it's rematch time. Duke Droese is pissed off looking for revenge. And I'm wondering if this is one of those matches where he wore his new gear. It didn't last very long for good reason before he goes back to the original gear. It just looks silly on him. And now I'm going to look up this young lady's career here. She is a adult model in the Penthouse Pet of the Month in June of 1995. So she's still fresh and hot here.
She was
Penthouse world.
The Penthouse Pet of the Year for 1997.
Oh, good call. I didn't even go that far. So she's done some things.
Yeah.
Triple H really living large.
Solo shoots. Yeah.
Let's see what Droese has to say here. Oh.
Get it here. Hunter Hearst Helmsley from behind attacking you with your own garbage can. And you can see it here.
Oh, that's just fine and dandy with me. He's getting the galvanized wake-up call tonight.
Cutting of your hair, obviously retribution. It's payback time.
It is absolutely payback time.
All right, Duke the Dumpster Droese. Obviously, but
he's doing a good job getting over he's pissed off. I'll say that much. He looks pissed off.
Yeah, he does. But at least he's getting a pay-per-view payday.
Yeah. How often do you see Duke the Dumpster Droese on even in your house pay-per-view? Not very often.
Hey, he gets back-to-back pay-per-view. He's running to the ring. I think he looks better with his haircut.
I do too. I agree. I wasn't a big fan of the Droese. I thought, he was kind of over with me here for about 2 months during this Triple H feud. I dug it. Like, he got the haircut. He looked a little better. He's working harder. He had aggression in the ring. He almost looked like a real serious competitor. Yeah. And I don't mind what he's got on right now. It's when he drops the top, that ridiculous singlet underneath is my problem with this gear. He doesn't look too bad here, showing off the arms. Not that he has big guns or anything, but he just looks more like a wrestler at this point. Ooh, more so than just a garbage man. Yeah, Triple H taking big bumps for the dumpster.
He's not even a garbage man. He's a sanitation engineer.
That's right.
All right. I enjoyed his stuff with Lawler and things like that. I didn't think I
think this goes down probably as his best match, though, on TV anyway.
Oh, yeah. Look who he's wrestling. Triple H.
I just mean his aggression, too. Like, everything he's doing here. Now the shirt comes off, and now he looks ridiculous here in the suspenders and this weird-looking shirt singlet thing. Looks like he's going to try to... looked like he was going to try to strap Triple H there, but the referee wasn't having any of it.
Probably easier to work in that than his other gear.
I feel like, man, I could be wrong, but I feel like him and Henry Godwinn came in roughly, or maybe Duke was already there when Henry Godwinn came in. I don't remember how it worked, but they were both fairly new to the company as Droese drops the big boot there. Yeah, I think Godwinn came in later, but Droese was already there, and obviously he wasn't really getting over, and his matches were, left a lot to be desired. And then Henry Godwinn pops up on TV as a heel, and he's not very entertaining either. His slow, methodical hog farmer gimmick. And they go to do a match at a house show I was at, and the crowd starts chanting boring before the match even starts, and they really don't relent until the match is over. It was probably the worst match I've ever seen live, boring wise anyway.
Yeah, I'm not expecting much out of those two.
Ironically, both of those guys have great little matches here with Triple H, Henry Godwin and Duke Droese back to back, and the storylines kind of they're identical. It's Triple H, the cleanly, not necessarily a blue blood, but the rich upscale guy from Greenwich taking on a filthy baby face. First the hog farmer, and now the garbage man, or the sanitation engineer, if you will.
Surprised we never got like a dumpster match or a
if they'd only been that creative.
Trash truck match or something where you got Dome in the back of a trash truck.
Well, had Droese actually got over with this character somehow, I don't know how he would have done that, but had he been able to do so when Triple H backdrops him to the floor, I think we would have eventually gotten to something like that. But given his place on the card, I don't think Vince was ever going to spare the expense of hauling a garbage truck out there for, the free-for-all or wherever Droese might normally end up on a show. I mean, how many feuds can you really think of that Droese had? And then when you start naming them, they were TV feuds. He never really took them to pay-per-view.
Yeah, I know the Lawler one was on like Action Zone and Superstars when it first came in. And I didn't think that one was bad. Doink got involved a little bit and things like that, so it wasn't horrible. But yeah, he just wasn't going to get over. You're not going to get over with this stupid gimmick like this. I don't know what you expect.
And sadly, this wasn't Vince Vince didn't peg him with this gimmick. This was the gimmick he had on the indies going in. I think this is what attracted Vince. Not only his size, because Droese looks like a pretty big dude. So I'm sure that attracted Vince as well. But, the guy has a built-in gimmick. He's already a garbage man when he walks into interview. So I'm sure Vince is like, that's great, pal. That's good shit.
It'd been nice if he, I don't know how you play this gimmick to make it work. I don't know.
I think maybe repackage it might have been a good way to go. Just repackage the gimmick after they, like they did with some of the other guys over time. They repackaged Bob Holly eventually a couple of times.
Yeah. I meant to make the actual Trash Man gimmick work. How could you make it work? Did you make it work?
I have no idea what I would do there. I have no idea. I mean, I don't think you can. Dusty could have made it work. I mean, he was a Trash Man for a week before he got to the WWF, right?
Well, yeah.
I mean, if Dusty came in as a Trash Man, I think that would have been over, but I think Dusty would have got any of that nonsense over back then.
Yeah.
Triple H drops the big knee.
And we can't say he's not into it because, like you said, he was doing this on the indies. So this was the gimmick that he created, he wanted, and this is what he brought with him.
Yeah, one of them early PWI 500s. I don't remember which one it is, 92, 93. One of those early PWI 500s. I think he's number 500, if I'm not mistaken. The Garbage Man. What a clever name. Spent a lot of nights staying up late coming up with that name. The Garbage Man.
I don't know if you see it, but there's a sign dead center that says, "Hello, USWA fans."
Well, they are in Louisville, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Shout out. I'm surprised they didn't use PG-13 here, at least on the dark matches. We've seen them pop up on Raw a couple of times.
That'd have been cool. Well, that was Bill Watts, though.
Speaking of the dark matches,
there it is.
Ahmed Johnson over, these are the dark matches, by the way. Ahmed Johnson over Isaac Yankem, who replaced Jeff Jarrett. The Godwins with Hillbilly Jim over the Body Donnas with Sonny. And the Undertaker defeated Intercontinental Champion Goldust by a countout. So a ho-hum dark match list of matches there. This was not really a stacked card underneath. Some of the shows you'll see pretty big names, dark matches. They just didn't make it to the pay-per-view. Here this time, I'm glad we didn't get any of these matches.
Yeah, me too. I just we talk about this almost every watch along, it seems like, but I wish we still had the hidden gems because they've been cool to complete these in your houses with the dark matches. I'm sure they taped them. Everything's there, they've as well.
A few of them popped up on Coliseum videos or other video releases. I think some of them even air as part of the home video version of some of the inner houses during this era. As Duke Droese with a nice sit-out clothesline on Hunter. It might have been a double clothesline, actually. Good bump by both guys either way. So there are a few of the dark matches out there already. I really can't say I went back and watched them, but I did notice that quite a while ago when I was going through listings of things.
That and then like the main events, the 1 hour specials, those had a lot of matches on them. Those have been cool to complete too, because it's usually a stacked card, a bigger, it's like the A and B show combined on those cards, because everybody has to be in for the taping, I'm guessing. So some of those have some really good dark matches on them that we just didn't get on the main event because we only had 2 or 3 matches on those. So
right.
The Hidden Gems is such a great idea, and there's so much shit out there that's not available that they could have used. And with the move to Peacock, I highly doubt they're going to be wanting classic material and just random stuff thrown on. So
yeah, it's frightening to think what may happen when they move. I don't know if we're going to get any more classic content dumps. It's a scary thought. We'll have to wait and see. Hopefully, enough people speak up. And I don't even know if that's enough to entice NBC. I also worry about more editing being done once people get over to NBC. There's certainly a lot of offensive things on here based on the time period in which a lot of things aired. Hopefully we don't get a lot of things removed or edited. As the Dumpster making his comeback here. Nice little Arn Anderson try at the Arn Anderson Spinebuster. Wasn't quite as good as Arn's. And Dumpster making the comeback. Power slam. I think it's time to take out the stinking trash, Steve.
Thank God for that. Yeah,
the Dumpster calling for the finish.
That's a concern. I don't know what's going to happen.
Shoots Triple H into the ropes looking for that tilt-a-whirl power slam, and he connects. Wow, I'm impressed. But he doesn't go for the cover. Big mistake. You get your one big shot here, Duke. What's he doing? Is he going for the garbage can? Well, how are you going to beat your opponent if you bring a weapon into the ring? I don't know if he's looking for a win. He might be looking for revenge, getting his head shaved, basically. And oh, the lid. It's Hunter right in the forehead. Triple H has to bounce. Wow, perfect shot. I know he didn't try that. The referee taking the can away from Duke. Their backs are turned, and Triple H nails the Dumpster with the lid, disposes of it.
The ref saw it. The ref saw it. He looked back too early.
Triple H
saw that one. Terrible.
Triple H tried to get rid of the lid in front of the referee. It bounces off the ropes, and Hunter has to hike it between his legs out the other side of the ring. But you're right, the referee did see Hunter use that. My problem here is Duke just threw that lid in. It caught Hunter right in the head, but Hunter pops right up. Then he hits Duke in the head with it, and Duke goes down for the 3 count. Obviously, that was a mistake. They didn't plan on the lid landing on Triple H's head like that. It's 1 in a million odds.
Duke didn't turn around in time, or Kyoto dropped the can too early because he has to stand there and look at it. And see right there, he turns around and sees it under the floor. Like, that should have been DQ. This woman's all about kissing this dude.
Yeah, well, she's probably done a whole lot more for a whole lot less. As Triple H picks up the win here, 9 minutes and 40 seconds. And that's going to take us to the interesting match between.
Store.
Oh, let's see what's in the WWF shop here. Call 1-800-TITAN-91. I called that once. I called 1-800-TITAN-91.
Survivor Series 94 shirt. It's a little dated. That ugly ass Undertaker sweater.
That's disgusting. I'll pass. Looks like it comes down to her knees.
Well, it's one size fit most. That's how they sell it, man.
Yeah, and youth sizes. They have youth sizes, don't forget. One size fits most. Adult size and youth sizes.
Yeah, adult size is one size fits most, and then youth, I think, is like small, medium, large, and extra large. So, my fat ass ain't fitting in him. I'll tell you that.
No, when I was in prime condition, based on my build, I have that Taz build, that chest and shoulder build. And even when I'm in my greatest shape, I have to wear an XL just for my chest and my shoulders, even when I'm not even sporting a few extra pounds. So I don't know if I'm fitting into a whole lot of that stuff.
I'm 6'4" and about 265. So, I haven't seen an extra large shirt since I was like 13. So
we go back to this week's Raw. It was Shawn and Diesel taking on Davey Boy and Yokozuna, and there you see Bulldog trying to save Yoko, but ends up leg dropping his own partner. And it's sweet chin music to Yokozuna, sends him to the floor where he's counted out. Post-match, Jim Cornette blames Yoko for the loss, and Yoko turns face. So this was a fun segment. We just talked about this on the most recent Monday Warfare show. And here it is, Yoko getting pissed off at Cornette.
Oh,
this was a great turn. Yoko, great delivery on this babyface turn here.
Oh, yeah. His hair flying everywhere and
goes after Cornette in the corner. Cornette. You feel like it's time for the heels to ambush him, and normally that works, but not on Yoko. Whoa! The lion roars, and off goes the Bulldog. The lousy hyenas are out of the ring, and Yokozuna reigns supreme there. And let's pick this up. This is Yokozuna's first ever promo. Let's listen to Doc interview Yokozuna.
Yokozuna to speak for himself. Well, right here and right now, for the first time ever, the 650-pound mammoth Yokozuna has something to say.
Jim Cornette, for nearly 3 years, I stood in the shadows while you hot dogged that spotlight. Well, it's my turn, because I gave you the gold, and yet you get all the credit and all the money. And as far as you, Owen Hart, the only gold you wore is when you hid behind me. Me! And British Bulldog, brother, you're in the wrong place at the wrong time. Because this 650 pounds of bad attitude is gonna burn Ken Cornette down to the ground. Banzai!
All right.
The guy's never cut a promo before to save his life. And they give him the opportunity here, and holy shit. Where has this been for the last 3 years? This guy should have been talking all along.
I don't know about all that. I think he's natural. I think he's a natural good guy. He's a natural face. I don't know how good he would have been cutting a heel promo. But man, that was good. And Yoko has a lot of shine on him right now, and rightfully so. So I was excited for this. Like I still remember when he turned and being excited to see, like, oh man, Yoko's a good guy now. I can cheer for him type deal. And he didn't disappoint. And I know we mentioned this on the last Monday show where he did this, then he just kind of disappears after a couple weeks of it. So it's just unfortunate he could never get out of his way and lose the weight that was necessary. So
yeah. Yoko going right after the Bulldog, who was his partner during that match on Raw. Backdrop on the Bulldog, kind of slides over the side. Yeah, I was. I remember sitting on my living room couch when he went to speak, and when he started cutting the promo, he got about a sentence in. I don't remember who was over, but I just remember looking over at them on the other couch, or love seat or whatever the hell, and we just looked at it like, holy shit, he's talking. Like, it was unbelievable. You know, it's like you're so caught up in the wrestling world. Obviously, this guy can speak. But you never really thought about it because he's been on TV for over 3 years and he's never, other than Banzai and Yosh, he's never said anything. And he cuts this promo and you're just like, not only impressed with it, it's great, but he's talking. So it's just like catches you off guard. You weren't expecting it.
Oh, yeah. And I think that's the other thing, too. You can clearly hear the Samoan in him. And he sounds a lot like the other ones. And when you're trying to get him over as this big heel Japanese sumo guy, him talking's not going to cut it. Well,
that's what's odd. If you watch the early inception of Yokozuna for the first several months at the very least, he was billed as being from the Polynesian Islands.
Yeah. Jim Cornette getting some action there on the outside.
Taking advantage of Yokozuna. Cornette tells a story during this run. He was asked to take a bonsai drop at one of the shows. I'm not sure if it was a taping or a house. Whatever it was, he was supposed to take a bonsai drop one night. And he had known Yoko for this period of time. And he said Yoko took care of guys. He always took care of guys, but he also had watched some of Yoko's early matches when he was trying to get over. You know, when he like tried to murder people, just sat on them, and then he would go to the back afterwards and apologize after the fact. Cornette said so he went to Yoko and he's like, you know, I've always been good to you. We've always been friends, Yoko. And he's like, don't worry, brother. And he said when Yoko gave him the bonsai, which he's going for right now on the Bulldog, made short work of the British Bulldog here. Insane how quickly he disposed of the Bulldog. Cornette said it felt like some pillows landing on him. That's how lightly he landed on you. Cornette took care of him. Even at this size here, he was still able to do that.
That's awesome. It just tells you in like the documentary, you really do get behind the curtain and see how he is. And I don't know if there's a nicer guy. Seeing Rikishi like cry, and to use his words, I missed the mother effer. So like he said, he bought a new house, but he didn't have the heating in the house. So Yoko gave him a blank check and said, buy what you need. And his kids and his family and him had heat in his new house. So that just seems like the type of guy he was. Even his sister said he probably should have saved more than he did.
Right.
But that's who Yoko was. And I think he realized he probably wasn't going to be here for a long time. So he just lived life to the fullest and helped out everybody he could. And that's a special person right there. And I think as a kid, you don't understand those things, and you don't understand the way life works outside of your life, so to speak. You don't really. It's hard to think like an adult when it comes to certain things or why you should appreciate people. I mean, you can on the surface, you know, oh, that's a good person, that's a bad person, that type of deal. But when you're older, you can respect and understand more about people. And especially in wrestling, it's not just a gimmick or anything.
Here. No, I agree with you. Bulldog trying to knock Yoko down, and it seemed like every clothesline, Yoko just got stronger.
Oh.
And then into the Samoan drop goes the Bulldog. So Yoko making the comeback. A very brief offense by Davey Boy. I think he got 2 or 3 shots in there before Yoko let him have it.
Yeah, and to wrap up what I was saying, it's just really cool to learn of these people and appreciate them more for not necessarily what they do in the ring as a performer, but as a person. You hear all the bad stories. Everybody knows all the bad apples, and there's not enough good in any sport. It's always about the negativity because that's what drives clicks and things like that. So
here we go.
I can't wait for Bulldog's documentary.
Belly to belly on the British. Yeah, that's going to be an interesting one as well. I don't know if it's going to. Well, it's the WWE. We'll see what narrative they put on it. As Yoko drops the belly to belly, it looks like he's pointing to the corner. Might be a little bonsai time.
You think it's going to be a positive or a negative?
Well, who knows? Cornette with the intentional disqualification there, coming into the ring and right in front of Jack Doan and cracking Yokozuna out 3 times with the tennis racket, and Yoko is no-selling. He is not feeling it, and now Cornette wants to be his friend. Oh, now we're buddies again. It's Vader time, says the sign in the crowd, and Cornette backing off, pleading with Yoko in the corner. Please don't kill me. Oh, what a great sell, too. Or no sell, I should say. Here comes Vader. Vader, of course, out of action until WrestleMania, but shows up here to further the angle with Yokozuna. Yoko's back turned, and Vader, boom, with a live round to the side of Yoko's head.
Now I gotta ask, is it true? Like, have you heard other stories of Vader not washing his gear?
Oh yeah, I've heard that 1,000 times. I've heard that from like 20 different sources. Yeah, it was
and they said he smelled like vomit.
Well, according smell to like other things.
Russo said he stunk like the high heavens, and people got wind of it, and I think he started to do it on purpose at some point. But that's disgusting.
Yeah.
Whew.
Looks like the Bulldog and Vader. Look at Cornette backing Jack Doan into the corner while Vader and the Bulldog handcuff Yokozuna. Special set of handcuffs, I'd have to imagine there. And they're working over Yoko in the corner. Funny story here is, remember, Vader just had surgery on that shoulder, repaired the shoulder on February 1st. He comes out here with his arm, his shoulder all stitched up. He rips all of the stitches out doing this just to get over the angle going into WrestleMania. So he has to be restitched after this spot here.
I'm assuming that's why he's wearing the jacket.
Yeah, it's to hide
the shirt. Has to be.
Yeah, to hide all of the stuff he has on his shoulder. Vader working it over. The mask comes off. Vader rips his mask off because he can't seem to keep it on. And he just lays into Yoko. They got him down to his knees. We got officials in there. Worthless Tony Gurria's even in there.
Gerald Briscoe's in there too. There's your boy, Rene Goulet, Dave Hebner.
Everybody trying to separate, but nobody's succeeding. And Bulldog now working Yoko over while the officials are busy with Vader. So they're taking turns doing a number on Yokozuna in the corner. This, of course, will be part of a 6-man tag team match at WrestleMania, these three guys.
That wasn't the initial plan.
No. But I don't know how they were going to work it all in.
These two right here.
Yeah, we were going to see Vader and Yokozuna one-on-one, which made sense actually when they announced the 6-man. Yoko fighting back, even handcuffed, beating Vader across the face. Backhands to the face.
He's laying some shots in.
Well, he's got to. He's got to give it back to Vader. Vader throws the mask off a second time. Oh, you want to get tough? You want to get... It's Vader time! Clawing at Yoko. Clarence Mason even in there. Cornette getting some licks in. Again, now with the racket. Of course, now that Yoko's down on his knees. Good old Jim Cornette. And now the Bulldog even laying it in with the racket.
So, man, they're beating the shit out of him.
Let's get some order out here. Yeah, when they announced the 6-man, it really pissed me off. I really wanted to see this match, Yoko versus Vader. They built it up well. They're two immovable forces, or whatever you want to call them, irresistible forces and immovable objects. Yeah. And I really wanted. So when they announced it was a 6-man, it really upset me. I wasn't happy with the call.
It makes sense though, because Yoko and Vader. Oh my God, that would have been like 3 minutes.
Well, we do get that in your house, I think, right? Don't we still wind up getting that? I think it's on the Beware of Dog, isn't it?
I don't know. I'm not sure. But
I can't remember.
Probably not a good idea for WrestleMania.
No, well, maybe not. Maybe they realized where Yoko was at this point. I don't know. He did okay here. I mean, a 5-minute match with Bulldog was nothing offensive here.
No, absolutely not.
Clarence Mason pleading with Vader to please leave Mr. Vader. Everybody was Mr., so please leave Mr. Vader.
Who's the man? Tell me, Steve. Who's the man?
Vader time.
Yeah, now all he's got to do is
look like shit whenever they decide to put him in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Hell, they may never do it just because of the way he did. Like begging to get in because he knew he wasn't healthy, and then he died, and now you're gonna put him in.
Oh my! Here we go. Goldust rubbing all over the America Online tech. Look at the way he's not really typing there. Did you see that? He was.
Yeah, he's definitely not. I'm looking at Marlena. Hello.
And of course, like I said, Goldust actually wrestled the Undertaker on this card, lost by a countout, so retained the Intercontinental title. Having a little fun with the AOL man. They're in cyberspace.
She's letting it hang out.
Yeah. She's got the fuzzies going across the top there. Goldust.
Do you think that... I have no idea what the hell's going on here, who he's cutting a promo on.
Well, I'm sure it has to be Razor. It would be Razor, right? It would have to be. Oh, bad guy. Oh, yeah, naughty one.
So do you think the Bulldog one, do you think it's going to be... I really think this whole series is to undermine like Dark Side of the Ring and just put their own spin on these things before they get it. So I'm sure they're going to talk about all the negatives of Davey Boy.
Well, unfortunately, in Davey Boy's real life, there seems to be a whole lot more negatives than positives. So it's going to be an interesting story no matter what. But I don't really care. If it's good, it's good. If it's not, it's not. I've seen WWE give us both. So I don't have any expectations walking in. I hope it's good. You know, the Bulldog had quite a storied career. He was one of the better talents during his era. But you never know what you're going to get.
I want to see his and Luger's.
And this has been a long time coming, and they placed this perfectly in the middle of Royal Rumble and WrestleMania to just give Shawn something to do, something noteworthy to do until he gets to WrestleMania to take on Bret Hart for the heavyweight title. It's Shawn Michaels looking to gain revenge on Owen Hart, the man who put him out of wrestling for about a month and a half anyway, maybe 2 months. Shawn returned at the Rumble, won the match, guaranteed title shot at WrestleMania, and then he wanted revenge on Owen Hart. Jim Cornette says, we have nothing left to prove. We've already taken you out before. Shawn says he'd do anything for the match with Owen, and Cornette basically cons Shawn into this match here. It's Shawn taking on Owen Hart, and the rule is if Owen Hart wins the match, he gets Bret or Shawn's spot at WrestleMania in the main event for the title. So we'd never seen something like this before, somebody fighting over the title shot at WrestleMania. This is the first time they utilized this February pay-per-view really well here.
Yeah, I agree. Between this match, and the next one, they did an excellent job of. I mean, I can't say, like, I get it's a pay-per-view, but it's a lot cheaper pay-per-view. It's like a 2-hour special. It feels a lot like an enhanced Saturday Night's Main Event type deal, where you're going to get big matches, but me personally, like now, like I know what they're doing. They're not going to give you anything. It's kind of like the Saudi Arabia shows. They're not going to give you anything. They're just kind of glorified house shows. So for them to be able to utilize this pay-per-view in between the Rumble and WrestleMania to further storylines and do things that are creative, like this match where Shawn's giving up his spot, was definitely cool. And to be honest with you, this would be the match that would sell me on the pay-per-view. Like, oh man, is Shawn going to lose his title shot? Why is he giving it up? Why is he doing this? Why is he giving Owen this opportunity?
Yeah, the Shawn Michaels mark inside of me probably peaked during his heel run, but I was still chasing that dream with him. I was just mad that he never got that heavyweight title. So I was on board with the Rumble win. And so when they did this, you see him win the Rumble, and you're not used to this type of match being thrown in between the Rumble and Mania. So he won the Rumble. Yes, he's got his title shot. All right. And then we get to Raw, and then this match is announced where Owen could potentially get that spot. It's like, now we got to wait all over again. Stop doing this to me as a fan. I just want to know that Shawn Michaels is going to WrestleMania. It's all I want to know. And I was on board this hype train, and then he finally got the belt, and I wasn't really a giant Shawn Michaels fan anymore. It's like, all right, we got here. And
I can relate. Like the Eagles, I'm an Eagles fan, and when they won the Super Bowl, it's like, okay, now I can really care less about football. I mean, I watch, but I'm not like invested like I used to be, like that, chasing that unattainable dream that you never feel like is going to happen.
Oh, yeah, Steve. Shawn Michaels dancing on a rooftop. I just jiggulated all over myself.
Oh, my God. That's probably Vince.
I have no doubt.
Vince, right?
What is Shawn? Maybe 15 feet in the air here. I'm sure Vince is selling it like he's fucking on top of the building.
Oh my God! Look at him up there on that platform, just dancing. Yeah, dance for me. Dance for everyone. Yeah, oh, yeah.
He's on a 30-story building, about to jump off here.
He's got some pyro. Pyro on the rooftop. And all of a sudden,
cutting pyro for
there's
Shawn.
the Tarzan vine from Thunderdome '89 at Halloween Havoc. Shawn Michaels swings down off the rope and on his way to the ring. Of course, he'd take this much further at WrestleMania entrance.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that was a little bit
too
much for me.
Vince, man, he does have an orgasm when he comes down there.
Oh, slide down that rope, baby.
You're going to have to pick up the audio on that one next time.
Oh, absolutely.
WrestleMania 12.
That's crazy to think it'll be our first WrestleMania.
And it's 12. That's unfortunate.
Main event-wise it is. Overall, I think that was the last year for a while that I was actually intrigued by the card. To be honest with you, I wasn't really sold on the next few WrestleManias.
I was bummed by the main event. I'm sure we'll talk about it a lot more next month, but I remember being like 25, 30 minutes in, and I was looking at my friend. I'm like, man, this is boring as hell. This is not what I expected. These guys fly all over the place. They wrestle a lot. I know Bret was methodical and things like that, but he could go when he wanted to. And man, It's been a long time since I watched that one. When I watched 12, I stop at the Iron Man match. I don't watch it.
Yeah, I used to do that all the time. When I recorded it live. Yeah, I recorded it live.
Yeah.
And I used to watch my pay-per-views, probably ruined my damn Well, I really didn't ruin them. They still work. But I don't know how I didn't ruin them. I watched them so often. But I agree with you. I turned it off every time. And every time I wanted to get my fulfillment of Shawn Michaels winning the title, I would fast forward it for an hour and I would press play. And then I would get the overtime. So I still got to see the finish.
The only thing I remember from that match outside of like the moonsault is when Bret's coming to the ring. Of course, it's a sign, but it says Bret the Shit Man Hart. I still remember that. It's hilarious, and this is the first time I saw it. And then other than that, I don't remember anything.
I think they made.
I remember the card. I know the card.
It was Pat Patterson's baby. It was his idea. He said obviously he drooled over these two. It was Pat Patterson that convinced Vince into going small. Like, let's just have some good wrestlers out. Let's have some good wrestler Vince out there, like Shawn and Bret. He's the one that got them pushed to begin with, to move away from the big giant plotting guys. So when he finally had his opportunity to have these two guys go head to head in the main event of a WrestleMania for the world title, Pat Patterson was all over it. He's the one that came up with the Iron Man idea. And I don't know that it wouldn't have worked, to be honest with you, had there been falls to keep people excited throughout the match. You're watching win after win. Instead, it was Pat Patterson's idea also to have no falls for the entire match and then go into the overtime. So I think Pat maybe made one bad call there anyway.
Jumped out of that seat.
I sure did.
High five.
Five me, baby.
He kisses like a 7-year-old girl who looked at her mom like, what the hell was that? Look at them two women. They're going to have to go change their panties.
Oh, is that what those were? I thought maybe they were hanging out with Henry Godwin.
That was some of Louisville's finest right there.
Yeah.
Right there is Louisville's finest right there.
Speaking of Louisville, Jim Cornette, again, out here. He's playing. He's busy tonight.
He's playing it up for his hometown here.
Yeah, he's having fun. He's having a good time.
But, oh, man. Let's stop stalling. Let's get it going, guys.
There we go. And we're getting going now. Owen Hart and Shawn Michaels should be a fun one. I don't really remember this match all too much. I'm sure they do a perfectly fine job of putting on a show. Owen slides through Shawn's leg, straight out of the ring. And was he looking for a high five there with a fan, or what was going on?
I think he's mocking Shawn Michaels because Shawn just did the same thing and went and high fived everybody. Ooh.
Shawn Michaels goes up for a reverse body block from the top rope to the floor, but Owen's like 20 feet away, so Owen has to walk all the way up to Shawn in order to. It's a great move. It was a good spot. It just it was very telegraphed.
Owen missed the mat there and I think he hit his head on the non-protected part of the floor. That can't be good.
Oh, yeah, he wasn't even near the mat. His head.
Oh, ooh. That didn't look pretty. For a landing, anyway.
No, and that's how we get things going. Our first big bump of the match. To the floor, yeah. Then we get back in the ring and slow it back down.
Oh, man.
We'll see. Shawn going to walk over the Rocket King, as Gorilla would call him.
I will say Pat made sense in the no falls because he just went. I think he did that to make him show that they're even. Like it took him an hour and they still couldn't figure out how to beat one another.
I think an hour's too long to do that. I mean, maybe it was.
I agree. I see where he's coming from. I'm not saying it's right. I understand where he's coming from, though. I'm with you. Like, any Iron Man match is better when, like, even those from WCW early on, with Steamboat and Rude and Dustin, how it was like 2-3 or 3-2, and guys hit their finishers and you get wins. That's what happens.
Having a little, I think, hockey talk fun there on Owen's head.
I think pinfalls definitely enhance Iron Man matches, but we'll save that for Mania. We have a long haul on that one.
Yeah, we can talk all about that for an entire hour.
No, it's unfortunate.
Leaves us something to talk about, though. Is Shawn just having a little fun with Owen Hart here early on. Cornette keeps getting up on the apron repeatedly. Now we're moving into some spots. Oh, double kip up. Woo!
I love Owen Hart.
Shawn going up for the Hurricane Rana. Takeover on Owen. Has to be a night off when you can work somebody who can work at your level. So, Shawn didn't get that a whole lot. Guys that worked at his speed.
Oh, no. Absolutely not. I mean, there's not a lot of people on the roster that can even do it.
No, definitely not at this time.
No. Just imagine if WWE or WWF had a stable of a roster like he dealt with when he came back then when he was in his prime. Just guys like Chris Jericho and Kurt Angle and Randy Orton and those type of guys. I don't know why I threw Randy Orton in there, but when he was younger, he was definitely better.
Couldn't be any worse.
They just didn't have that much talent like that to where that could work his pace and work his style. I know he pissed off Diesel the way he worked at Mania 11 because he gassed him in 10 minutes because he's moving so fast and running so fast.
Yeah, and Diesel's always said Shawn purposely took the jackknife on his ass, like screwed up the bump on purpose just to upstage Diesel in the finish. It's crazy to think that this is your best friend you're talking about like this. I mean, he's not even shitting on Shawn doing it. It's just basically like, yeah, Shawn Michaels is a dick, but he's my friend. So
yeah, pretty much. It's like he probably went to the back and said it, dude, you piece of shit. Why did you not sell my jackknife properly? Or why did you gas me in 10 minutes?
Yeah. Owen going for the, oh, look at that. Oh, look so pretty. Hot chic right there. Camel clutch on the Shawn Michaels champion. Olympic champion on the chic. Yahallah. And a motherfuck break his back, Owen. Fuck his ass. Make him humble. I wonder if Shawn Shawn was into that. Have to ask, well, I can't ask Pat Patterson. Never mind.
I'm sure. I don't know, dude. Who knows?
Ask Vince. Maybe it should be. I'm asking the wrong guy. I should be asking Vince. You see what I should be asking?
Man. He might give you an answer.
Yeah, I'll give you an answer.
Oh Lord, who knows? Who cares?
You want to talk about Shawn Michaels? Yeah.
To each their own, right?
Premature ejaculation.
It's breaking down here. We get a nice knee to the gut.
Owen taking over on HBK now. Owen looking to advance to WrestleMania and take on his brother Bret. He's already proved he can beat him at WrestleMania. It did so back at WrestleMania X. So that's an interesting backstory here if you really want to play into it. No idea if the announcers bring that up. Knowing Lawler, I'm sure he's too busy talking about something absolutely completely different. And Vince, I don't even know if he's going to acknowledge that or not. But the thought is there, of course, we don't know that Bret is going to go into WrestleMania as champion. He's still got to wrestle Diesel here in the cage match, so maybe they're not bringing it up for that reason.
Yeah. Don't pull the WCW and
you mean don't pull on Eric Bischoff?
Yeah, don't say yeah, he's going to defend his title next week and then not do it. Oh Lord, WCW, man.
Owen hasn't had any really definitive. Well, maybe after that spin kick I was going to say Owen really hasn't had a definitive comeback streak for the heat, like getting the heat on Shawn. He's getting a few moves and then Shawn comes back. He's getting a few moves. Shawn comes back. That might have done it there. That spin kick sends Shawn Michaels to the floor.
So do you buy this like, oh, that was great.
Cornette
great by
caught.
Cornette. That was awesome.
Do I buy what?
Did you ever believe Owen? Did you ever buy Owen as like a legit contender?
No. I was very shocked when he won the match at WrestleMania, and I was supportive of that decision after the fact. But it was just I don't think he ever really went anywhere beyond that. It was a good call giving him the King of Hearts gimmick. I thought that worked out well for the King of the Ring, and then the gimmick he ran with that pretty well. But nice power slam by Owen off the apron, nice. Catching Shawn. Good spot on the floor.
Yeah, Owen is good.
Yeah, I haven't watched this match in a very long time. This is for the guys involved, I just haven't given enough viewing time over the history of the pay-per-views I've watched. And so some of these spots are actually surprising me. I can watch other pay-per-views, and I know everything that's coming before it gets there. This one, not so much.
Yeah, I like his tights here. It says the best heart. So he's if the commentary and nobody else is going to play it up that he beat his brother, he sure as hell is. Because his trunks there, they say the best, and then he has like his little heart logo there. So
missile drop
he's
kick.
playing it up.
Owen thinks he's won. No. Woo! No, it was a 2 count, Owen. Great missile drop kick. But it doesn't get the win. Shawn's still hanging in there. He's not going to get his dream ruined going to WrestleMania. I think that was the last wrestling shirt I ever purchased, the old Boyhood Dream shirt of Shawn Michaels, at least WWF shirt. I did grab that first Taz shirt in ECW. But yeah, there we go.
Oh, nice. Crucifix? What is that? What kind of pin is that?
That's kind of an O'Connor roll, I suppose. Just
using
without
the legs.
Running to the ropes, yeah. Oh, the up in the corner. Does the flip and back down. Goes Michaels and oh, what a nice clothesline.
Nice clothesline.
Good job by
Owen's
both guys
work.
there. Yeah, and Michaels is bumping good for him. No surprise, but Owen, man, he's really turned it up. We've seen Owen do some moves here we don't normally see out of Owen Hart, so he knows what's up here tonight. Everything's on the line, not just, in fictitious world of getting a shot at WrestleMania, but just staying on that spot in the card. You don't really want to lose that spot that Owen's worked hard to attain, that upper mid-card spot, or semi-main at times, depending on the storyline involved. And he's working the sharpshooter on Shawn Michaels now. Owen stole that from Bret, obviously.
Well, who has the best sharpshooter? Who has the best sharpshooter, I should say?
Ricky Choshu? I don't know. The man who created it?
Sure. I never seen his. American. We'll go American. How about that?
I can't pick
wrestling.
Owen or Bret then. So, because they're not American. They're Canadian.
I meant U.S. wrestling. U.S. wrestling, not Canadian wrestling.
I know. I was just having some fun, man.
My gosh. North American.
I think I like Bret. I think I like Owens better than Bret's, to be honest. I mean, he looks more agile, nimble as he's applying it. I think Bret does it really crisp. I was going to throw you off again and just say rugged Ronnie Garvin, but I don't want to fuck around anymore.
I don't know, man. His at Royal Rumble was pretty nasty.
Everything Ronnie Garvin did was pretty nasty. Not just at Royal Rumble, but just any old time. I mean, if we ever do a grenade on those Crockett era years when Garvin's there, I mean, every week he just punishes. And you talk about Stu Hart's, you talk about Stu Hart's dungeon. I imagine that what Garvin was doing to those guys in the ring was probably something similar to Stu Hart's dungeon, but he was doing it right on TV every week, bending those poor guys into. There we go. And Shawn, I like this. Owen with the enziguri knocks Shawn out of the ring, and the reason I like this is that way Owen doesn't go for a cover right away. Shawn kicks out on 2, and it exposes the move after the move actually put Shawn out for 2 months. So here we have time as Shawn lays on the floor outside to ponder if he's even going to get back up. Yeah, he's laying out there playing dead. The good call there by the guy, whoever thought to do that. Shawn staggers from the enziguri.
Feature. They're doing everything to really sell this move.
Yeah, they knew it was coming. We get 2 different double feature shots, and 2 shots. You see it connects. Shawn stumbles forward to the outside. He's playing dead now, and you're wondering right now, is he going to get back up? Because last time Owen took him out for 2 months. This might be permanently.
Yeah, that was excellent storytelling there. Great job.
And Shawn never gets up on his own, you have to notice. Owen brings him back in the ring himself. And Michaels barely kicks out. He doesn't even kick out with authority, just barely gets that left shoulder up. So they continue to tell a good story. As Shawn never really moves, it's Owen that drags him into the ring and makes the cover.
Yeah, this is a really, really good match.
Yeah, it's kind of forgotten. You never really hear it talked about that time Owen and Shawn had the match at In Your House.
No, definitely not. To be honest, that's a lot of the In Your House. You made the comment before where they're not the greatest shows, but there's always one or 2 things that stick out that you can go back and watch and really enjoy. And This is absolutely that gym on the In Your House right here.
Owen's still in control, at least for the time being, but Shawn, I feel like a forearm's coming here. Yeah, there, well, it was a clothesline. Maybe he hadn't worked the forearm into the whole spiel yet, I don't know. But both guys are down, and I smell a kip up from the Heartbreak Kid here any time now. Who we got as ref? I didn't see. Is Hebner in there? Yeah, it's Hebner.
Yeah. So
Owen's up first. Owen coming after Shawn, and Shawn with the kip up. There we go. And it's time to Hulk up, Shawn Michaels style anyway.
Oh, man. Same song, different dance, huh? There's the forearm. And he's pissing with his hair. Just get to it, man.
He had to take the ponytail out.
I
mean, Jerry Lawler dropped the strap. Shawn Michaels drops the ponytail.
I thought he tuned up the band.
He could do that too, I guess. I never was a big fan of that whole nonsense. I get it, but whatever. Shawn looking for the big elbow off the top. Connects, and Cornette up on the apron. And he takes a shot. So Cornette now wiped out as Shawn signaling for the finish. I don't even know what the finish is to this match. Is it a super kick? We'll see right here. Oh, Owen ducks it.
That has to be.
Oh, nice. Nice telling. Oh, my God. And he still connects with the super kick. Great spot there. Owen ducks the super kick. Shawn ducks a second enziguri, and then finally lands the super kick to pick up the win. Shawn Michaels is going to WrestleMania. 15 minutes, 57 seconds.
Excellent match. That's what you pay to see right there.
I love the teases in the finish as Owen goes for the enziguri a second time. Good stuff there as well.
You tell Earl to get the hell out of his ring. It's his time.
That's right. Shoo him away.
Oh, he's asking for something.
He's asking
that's
for...
a cool Undertaker shirt. Oh, Lord.
He's dancing with a child.
There's no way in hell I'm letting my kid get in the ring with Shawn Michaels.
This is a lawsuit waiting to happen here in this world, in our current time anyway.
There is no way.
She's got the Michaels glasses, the Michaels gloves, and thanks for coming, sweetheart.
She kissed him back. Look at those 1996 bangs.
Yeah. Dated a lot of girls with those bangs back in the 90s.
Could you imagine if Twitter was a thing and this pay-per-view is going on and Shawn
I wish that was me up there.
Could you imagine Vince McMahon? Oh, my God, yeah. Could you imagine Vince McMahon in this gear, like the gloves and the glasses? Oh, yeah, I'm a Shawn Michaels fan. Oh.
You have a weird infatuation with Vince McMahon and what he's wearing.
Vince McMahon has a weird infatuation with Shawn Michaels. I just find it humorous.
Well, yeah. No, dude, don't do that. Kissed her on the lips, bro.
It's odd that they picked out one kid like that. You know, Shawn was doing this during this run here in '96. That's another good story I can tell you real quick while we're between matches. It was right around this time. It might have been before WrestleMania or shortly thereafter. There was, I think it was this month, to be honest with you, in 1996. I could be off, but it was during this period. Shawn Michaels teamed with Yokozuna in the main event of a house show, and I'll be damned if I can remember who they wrestled. But after they got the win, this was when Shawn started bringing kids in the ring. He calls for a few kids to get in the ring. And then he calls for a few more. And then the next thing you know, everybody on the entire floor is storming the ring. They've knocked over the guardrail. It's a fucking riot. There is...
He's kissing her again.
Well, hey, man. Maybe it's his niece or something.
I doubt that.
But yeah, Shawn Michaels basically incites I won't call it a riot. It wasn't an angry riot. It was just fans revolting against the law as they trampled the guardrail over. And there was probably a couple hundred people in the ring. Just crammed in there. It looked like the Public Enemy show in ECW there. It was insane. The security was not happy.
Oh, I can imagine. That's what happens on house shows.
So he invited a couple kids in, and it turned into a couple hundred people in the ring. It was a sight to see. It's the only time I ever saw that live, I'll tell you that.
So I'm guessing he didn't shoo Dave away. He went, or Earl away. He told Earl to go get that kid.
All right, go get the kid now, Jack. Did you see Vince there? He was really excited. Like he's pounding his fist. You know, he's like,
Yeah, Shawn Michaels going to WrestleMania, Jerry Lawler.
Jerry Lawler just over there doing his Mickey Mouse impersonation. Ha!
We gonna pick up Piper here?
Oh,
while they're building the cage?
Well, we can do that. Once he's out here anyway. I'm not going to listen to Todd Pettengill introduce him.
I know that's your boy. Good old Todd.
Dot Petting Zoo.
Todd Pettengill or whatever gills are on that fish.
Oh, my gosh.
According to Heenan.
Todd brings out the Hot Rod, who is now the interim president of the WWF after Vader took out Gorilla Monsoon. Honestly, I have no idea what Roddy even does here, so I'm a little intrigued.
I have no idea either.
Well, we'll pick it up for a little bit anyway.
They won't let him talk.
Thank goodness. Listen to this.
I appreciate it, but I have some very important stuff I want to tell you. I want you to listen up here. I take my job as a WWF president extremely seriously. I can't be bought. I don't pull no punches. I don't think Michael Jackson's innocent, and I ain't afraid of no damn booger man. Now, first thing I want to come to, it's an official statement. It has to be an official statement. WrestleMania, Anaheim. Kind of proud to announce this. The #1 contender for the WWF Championship, Shawn Michaels. I want to tell you something. Shawn, I've watched you for a long time. I've watched you work your heart out for an opportunity like this. But you better pull up your socks, and you better sleep on that mat, and you better every day do everything you can, because you're either going to face Bret Hart or you're going to face Diesel, and neither one are going to be a cakewalk. So when you get there, you come to fight, because I ain't stopping it till there's a winner. That's the first thing.
That's enough, isn't it?
#2, Yokozuna. I don't feel a bit sorry for you having been handcuffed up there and all these people around you beating on you. Not a bit. And I'll tell you why. You're 640 pounds of beast. Nasty beast, I'll say that too. And you're up there as strong as you can be. If you're gonna be that dumb, we gotta do a little work up here. Huh? Now, Vader, I don't know what your major malfunction is, but I come here to cure it. Okay? He comes from the Rocky Mountains. Obviously inbred, okay? Somebody ought to tell Vader that thing he wears on his face should tell him that that's not where your jockstrap goes.
There's only one. Roddy Piper, there's only one.
However, in the case of Vader, maybe that's where it belongs, because he's nuts. But you 520 pounds, big tough bully, right? You see, I wouldn't suspend you. I'm not that stupid of a president. That was the board of directors. No. I'm going to keep you around, Vader. You think you're a big, tough guy, 520 pounds. A little bit, they kind of shaves his head like Mr. T. Have you noticed that? I'm not sure. With Jim Cornette, you got 600 pounds of Yokozuna. WrestleMania 12, Anaheim, I say this. I don't care what happens. If you got handcuffs, if you bring in underwear, I could care less. I say Yokozuna against Vader, one-on-one, WrestleMania. Let him go. Let the blood flow. That's what I say.
Well, there's
unbelievable.
Only one.
Oh, wait a minute.
Roddy Piper.
Yeah, he's a loose cannon, McMahon.
Let me tell you one thing right now.
Shut up!
Whoa.
That's Clarence Mason.
You'll get sued.
When you come up here with me, mister, first thing you do is have a lot of respect. Now, I ain't finished. You, tell me something. When you were a little kid, is that a tennis racket or a banjo? Does da-dun-dun-dun mean anything to you, huh? Did you used to sit on a porch and play the banjo? Is that how you got Vader, huh?
Let me explain something to you, Hot Rod. You come out here and make all the statements you want that they got a time with a calendar instead of a stopwatch, and you're a real funny guy. But I remember Hot Rod used to come out with a shirt on him that said no fear. And I remember Hot Rod used to come out and say he wasn't scared of nothing that ever happened to him because he's been through it all. You were on the streets when you were a kid and nobody could scare you.
You betcha.
But there was one man that did. He scared you, and he scared the World Wrestling Federation, and he scared everybody out there, and he scared every wrestler that stepped in that ring, and that was Vader.
Wait.
So what did Vader do? He scared everybody. So what did the WWF do? You tried to banish him. You tried to exile him, send him away. He's too hot. We can't touch him. He was Hot Vader, not Hot Rod. But thanks to this man, Vader is back. So now you're sending a 640-pound man. And you think that he's gonna take Vader out? Well, I got news for you. WrestleMania 12, Anaheim, California. What's gonna happen to Yokozuna and the rest of the World Wrestling Federation?
Whoa.
It's on your head, Hot Rod.
Have you ever thought of something, anything? However, think about this for a second. You had Yokozuna. You're one a great manager. You had him, correct?
That's right.
Now you have Vader, correct?
That's right.
Yokozuna is 640 pounds. To me, that's about 320 pounds per cheek. Do you know what? In WrestleMania 12 at Anaheim, if Vader loses, you might find yourself cheek to cheek with Yokozuna.
Are you gonna...
Well, there's only one Hot Rod.
Bottom line is, buddy, you're going to be out of a job, and at WrestleMania, we're going to see people that are going to fight.
Well, I was waiting for the wheels to come off the Piper promo, and they really didn't. I was actually surprised because I know it was somewhere around 96. He was hit or miss. He started to be a little hit or miss, more hits than misses, but the wheels kind of started to fall off a little bit on Piper, but he's doing a great job here so far going into WrestleMania.
Burying some talent on the way. Good Lord.
Yeah.
Inbred. Woo. That was a great line, though. He should have had his jock strap on his face because he's nuts. But,
yeah. That's what I mean. He's still being clever here. It's still funny. Some of the banter coming out of Roddy's mouth, and then it started to go a little long. I was going to press mute, and the next thing I know, Jim Cornette's up on the stage, and he's not going to screw this up. Cornette's maybe first time ever getting to dueling mics with Roddy Piper. That could have been real fun in another world and another time when Roddy was a full-time wrestler. Having Jim Cornette and out there and arguing with Roddy Piper on the weekly, that would have been good.
Oh, that would have been great. It sounds like they were kind of going towards if Vader loses, then he has to get in the ring for 5 minutes with Yoko, that type of gimmick. That's what it felt like it was going at.
Very well could have been.
Last bit.
Who knows what the original plan was? I mean, Cornette might know, but yeah, it doesn't go that way. Obviously, both guys now passed away, Yoko and Vader.
Yeah.
Sad to think of that. But yeah, it doesn't matter anyway. It all gets, like you said, turned into a 6-man tag team match to, I'm assuming, help Yoko out a little bit. And Vader, just coming back from the shoulder injury, too. I'm not sure if he was even 100% either. Maybe it was to help out both guys. Not really sure.
Yeah, and also kind of sounded like it was going to be a no DQ. You could do whatever the hell you want, and that could have protected them both as well. Where you don't have to necessarily work a match. You can just beat the brakes off of each other with weapons and stuff. So sounds like they had different ideas. They weren't 100% sure where they were going. They just wanted to get it out there that they're going to have a match together. So good on them to utilize this opportunity to get some matches announced.
Yeah, it was an excellent way to kill time while they were putting the cage up rather than going backstage and just interviewing random guys doing random things or more AOL or 900 line commercials.
Yeah, for sure. Asking if Piper and Goldust are an item. Scheme Gene.
And Big Daddy Cool out here, Diesel, on his way out of the company here very soon, off to WCW, as I'm sure everyone knows. But first, He's going to try to get through Bret Hart here. He's looking to get the title back on this pay-per-view, this In Your House show. But he's also got issues with The Undertaker. As of late, he cost The Undertaker the title at the Royal Rumble, pulling the referee out of the ring just as Undertaker nailed Bret with the tombstone and went for the cover. Basically cost Taker the belt there. And then again, Bret just had the rematch with Undertaker on Raw, and Diesel screwed that match up as well, attacking both guys, laying the Undertaker out with 2 jackknives and sending Bret down with a shot into the steel post, taking Bret out on the outside of the ring. So Diesel has 2 enemies right now in Bret and the Undertaker.
That's crazy. Diesel's touching the top of the cage with being flat on the mat.
Well, you can tell that's exposing that it is not a 15-foot high solid steel cage.
Look at that.
Yeah, he's
that
just relaxing.
Insane. Stretching.
It's probably more stretching than Diesel's done in his entire career, which explains a lot of the injuries he's endured over time.
I'm 6'4", and it's a struggle sometimes. The back always hurts, knees hurt when it's cold and rainy. So I can only imagine being 7 foot tall. I can only imagine the struggles of living that way.
I'm sure he's living as well as he can be with the money he's pocketed.
He's smart. What's your thoughts on them moving? He's something. Yeah, he's a dick, but he's smart.
Thought of who moving what?
Them going to WCW. Like, what are your thoughts on that? I don't want to. You don't have to go in too deep, but like, are you one of those types that's loyal, or are you just going to go cash the checks? Like, where do you stand there?
I feel like these guys tried to be loyal. I feel like Razor, the story goes Razor went to Vince. He's like, all right, well, when am I going to move up to the card? And it was basically told to him in so many words that you're at your peak. This is where you're going to be. And how many times can you be Intercontinental Champion? You know what I mean? I mean, 4 times back in the mid-90s, that's an awful lot of times as Intercontinental Champion. It's like the same story every year. Oh, Razor's champion again. Oh, who's he going to lose it to this year at Royal Rumble or at WrestleMania or whatever? And he made the jump. I'm sure he got a good payday, a lot less at wrestling. You're preserving your body. And clearly he goes over there and can basically do whatever the hell he wants. So that was incentive after he got there too, I'm sure. Diesel, I mean, same thing. He's getting paid more money. I don't know if you can't be, I mean, what's loyal? I mean, it's just like any other job. If you're going to get paid more, you need to support your family and your wrestling to make the most money you possibly can. And like the story goes, Nash had planned to stay with the WWF. It was his wife that said, I don't think so, buddy. So, it changed.
He's about to call Vince and say, I'll stay. And his wife saw the last figures and she's like, what are you doing? He's like, you know what, you're right. I think the war would have been over a lot quicker if these two stuck around. It would have been way shorter.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it would have been interesting to see where they would have had to go if they didn't have Hall and Nash. If the NWO never came to WCW, what would they have tried to do in order to compete? Would have been really interesting.
I have no idea. Because, I mean, we're watching the Monday shows now, and what they're doing is the same shit over and over and over. And then when they came, like, everything was different. It was all new and fresh.
Right.
But, yeah, they hit the jackpot, but obviously it didn't last. So
it only took a gazillion dollars from Ted Turner's pocket to do that. But, hey, man, when you got the money to throw around.
They made it back, some of it anyway.
It's not like Vince didn't do the same exact thing to a lot of the territories. Purged all their talent based on the ability to offer the talent more money. They made the jump.
TV time and
national exposure.
Merchandising and money that you never thought possible. So that to me makes more sense. I think at this stage in the game, you're going to be on TV. You're not going to really lose those spots. It is what it is. If you got decent money with Vince, might as well stay. They're the more proven product. But money talks, I guess.
Yeah, and going back, and when I first heard this, like I said, I used to call the local newspaper Quick Line, they called it, and punched in for my wrestling news, punch in a 4-digit code, get your wrestling news of the week from an old wrestling writer posted in some of the newspapers by the name of Blackjack Brown. He used to give up the scoops, and the one week he announced Razor and Diesel were on their way to WCW, which would have been right around exactly when they announced it. I'm sure he just stole all of his information from the Observer anyway. I was upset. I was worried for the WWF. I was upset they were taking away top talent. That Diesel, he just served his purpose there. Razor, I was a big fan of. So it sucked knowing both of those guys were going. So I was angry that they were jumping. Shame on them for turning. And, if you talk to teenage me, I thought it was disloyal and shitty on their part. But, hindsight, looking back, I mean, you got to do what you got to do. It's unfortunate. Yeah. But it's all about the business. Business was way down during that Diesel run. And it wasn't all Diesel's fault. I mean, business was just down. Vince couldn't offer them any more than what he was already giving them. And then Vince only saw Razor going as far as he could go. And I don't know that I would argue that he could go any higher than what he did.
I don't think so either. I mean, he really only had that one main event somewhat type push when he was with Flair in 92, then the Bret match at 93. Then it was just like right back to the mid-card he went.
He was getting so over as a heel, getting pops, that they had to turn him face by the summer. So he wasn't even there a year before he got turned babyface.
And I think, too, when you lose to the 1-2-3 kid, even though it established the kid, I mean, how could you ever be taken serious as an actual title contender?
Yeah, I mean, I never really thought of. I don't know if that really hindered him for me. I just thought his character, not character. I just thought Razor Ramon, it wasn't going to get any higher than Intercontinental status. Semi-main event all day long. I mean, he's very dependable in that spot on the show. I can't fault him for wanting more. Hey, I've been here forever. I'm over, which he was. He was one of the top, draws. I mean, or guys on the card for years. I could see why he thought he deserved a run as, as world champion. I don't think as a babyface it was going to work. Maybe as a heel, he
needed that. The tweener that he's doing here,
Razor's edge, so to speak.
Yeah. I think what he's doing now, like that we'll always see going into WrestleMania and with Piper and stuff like that, I feel like that gimmick, if he went full-fledged heel, could have really worked and probably elevated him to be a great challenger to Shawn Michaels. Now, I don't know about winning the title, but being a great challenger to him in that major heel role would have been really good, I think. So, but I don't want to take too much more of this match. This is what we were supposed to get at Survivor Series, right? It was initially planned to be a cage match according to the Melts, and they said Bret, I think, talked him out of it, or somebody did.
Yeah, I know that they thought that
too restrictive.
Yeah, too restrictive for Diesel in particular. They couldn't do a whole lot, and they wanted the match to be good, so they removed the idea of the cage, and they made it. What did they make it? Was it a no DQ match?
Yeah, it was a no DQ. No disqualification. There must be a winner type deal because of all the interference, the year and a half that led up to the match.
Bret working over the leg of Diesel, because if he works over the leg, Diesel cannot climb out of the cage, and he'll probably have trouble even walking out of the cage. So the Hitman has a game plan.
Always has a game plan.
Got that right.
This match has been pretty fast-paced to start. Now that he's working the leg, it's kind of slowed down. But
yeah, you'll get that. You'll get that in a Bret Hart match sometimes, depending on who he's working. Those Undertaker matches did not click.
No, they definitely did not.
Now the match with Diesel at Survivor Series, that was solid. So Bret's had a few decent matches with Diesel in the past. That's proven.
Yeah, that is Diesel's best opponent by far, and outside of maybe Shawn, but we didn't really get that extended Diesel-Shawn feud. What, 2 matches out of it? We got 2 matches, right?
Oh, we got the Good Friends, Better Enemies.
11, and then this one coming up after WrestleMania. I think that's it.
Diesel slams Bret off the top rope. into the middle of the ring. Yeah, I mean, Diesel's basically a heel at this point. He gets angry, obviously, when Bret Hart beats him for the belt back at Survivor Series. He's a tweener at that point. He'll slap your hand if you're wearing a black glove. Great merchandising gimmick there by Kevin Nash, who knows how to sell merch. I don't know how much he sold, but I do see black gloves in the crowd now. That's not to say they bought him from the WWF. You could buy him anywhere. But Bret coming off with the Bulldog. Boom, there it is. But as time goes on, he's starting to screw people over, screw Bret over, screw The Undertaker over, and eventually, like you said, he's going to turn on his buddy Shawn Michaels too. And at that point, he's complete heel on the way out the door.
Yeah. Quite the roller coaster. I'm a fan of Diesel. I don't mind Kevin Nash, the person. I know he rubs a lot of people the wrong way because for whatever reason, a lot of fans, and myself included to a degree, think you should just treat the business for the business and not necessarily look at it from a money-making standpoint.
Right.
When any job, any business, anything that if you're doing it for money, you need to make money. And that's all Diesel cared about. And he made a shit ton of money. You can call him terrible in the ring. You can call him injury prone. You can call him whatever you want. I'm sure he's going to be like, go look at my bank account and go look at my legacy. I'm good. F you.
Yeah, and I know these two guys don't have a whole lot of love for one another, Bret and Nash, in real life. I know Nash is just one of the many guys Bret loves to trash and say a lot of negative things about. I don't know if Kevin Nash's tune has changed to where he says more negative things about Bret now because Bret really lets him have it quite often. But it was within the last couple of years, I heard somebody interview him and ask him his thoughts on Bret Hart, and he just kind of lets Bret get a pass. And his reasoning was he kind of understood how Bret was raised, and he talks about the dungeon, and he says, you know what, when a guy's raised the way Bret Hart was raised, you know, he didn't say it this way, but basically implied like there's going to be maybe some mental stability issues there. And so he doesn't blame Bret. It's almost like he feels sorry for Bret, and he kind of lets Bret's comments go. I don't know if that's the case anymore. Bret's really laid into Nash more in recent times, some of his thoughts on him, as only Bret Hart can do.
Yeah, I think everybody is just accepts Bret for who he is. I don't know about verbal abuse, but when your whole life is wrestling from the day you come out and born to the day you die is nothing but wrestling, that's all you know, you're going to look at it differently compared to a guy like Kevin Nash, who probably was thinking, I'm going to be an NBA player. I'm 7 foot tall. I'm going to take advantage of my God-given gifts of being tall and athletic and try to make money any way I can. And wrestling just kind of fell in his lap. He doesn't have that history or connection to the business that a Bret Hart does. So I see it differently. I see where Bret Hart's coming from. Like, he's going to take it serious. It put food on his table. He fed it. That's how he ate.
I was actually kind of shocked. Yeah, no, I hear you. I mean, it's more like Lex Luger. You know, he's just came here to make money.
Exactly. And Bret, like, that's his whole life. He saw his parents and what they did for it. And everything he has in life is because of wrestling. So of course he's going to look at it differently. And
Bret Hart takes that famous chest bump into the corner.
That always gets me, man.
Oh, the sound that makes.
I know. It's not even that bad when there's no audio, but man, the thud. Have you ever taken that bump?
I've tried. I mean, I've taken it. I've tried to take it like that. I just can't figure out how the hell he does it.
That's like, to me, like, that's one of those bumps where you do it, and if you're like an inch off on your stop or whatever, that's gotta hurt.
It's really not so much a stop. I mean, you got to stop a little bit. You're really wanting to hit in there. It's just as long as you keep your arms underneath that top rope when you go in there and kind of bow up your chest. It's just, I can't figure out how the hell he hits it so damn hard. Like, even when I try, I can't hit it that hard. It's crazy.
I don't know, man. It's one of those simple spots that just looks brutal.
Oh, he does. If everybody could do it, we'd obviously be seeing more people do it right now. Bret's the only one that's ever. Owen's tried it. Owen does it too. He just doesn't do it to the level of Bret. It's just something Bret perfected, and he does a really good job.
The only one the only one crazy enough to do it all the time.
Yeah, every match.
I think if you do it every match, you're going to get to the point where you can just knock it out. But some people, you get through that initial.
I like this here, Bret.
Feeling out stage.
Going back to Diesel's leg, and he doesn't even climb up the cage slowly. He's moving up there fast. He should drop. Just drop, Bret. Let go. See, this is where greasy hair comes into play. Slide right through with the oily hair, but no. Nash gets a hold of him, brings him back in. I like that Bret just keeps going right back to the leg of Diesel. Every time Diesel takes over, Bret comes back by just kicking him, working over that leg. And almost escapes that time. Diesel's doing more climbing up the ropes in this match than he's done his entire career combined, I'd imagine.
He's probably feels safe being up there, being able to hold onto that cage and balance himself.
Yeah, it still can't be too comfortable being that size, climbing up ropes.
Oh, yeah. I don't know, man. I wish I was 4 or 5 inches taller, to be honest with you. I wouldn't be doing this right now. I'd be rich somewhere, But I think you got to wonder if Diesel gives him a pass a little bit, because when people talk about good Diesel matches, they always talk about his matches with Bret Hart. So you may not give a shit about in-ring work, or it's all about making money, but at the end of the day, you're in this business for 30 plus years. You got to have something memorable.
Right.
and
These would be the go-tos. Can you name another good Diesel match? I mean, the Shawn match at WrestleMania 11's okay. There's another chest bump. The Good Friend Better Enemies match is quite gimmicked up, but I always enjoyed it. I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
But outside of Shawn and Diesel, is there another good Diesel match that you can think of other than the Bret? Not off the top of your head? I can't. Nothing in WCW.
I'm trying to think. I'm just thinking
too
of
hard,
runs. The only other thing that I can think of is the Royal Rumble '94 when he just dominated. I mean, that was the first time we ever seen anything like. That's the first time we ever seen anybody just dump everybody. I know they were job guys, but at the same time.
No, I'm just saying that's what he was doing.
It was unique.
You're right, yeah. No, it was different. I wasn't a fan of that. Actually, I was pitching a fit as it was happening, because if you remember, 2 months prior to that, he did a job to a body slam and an elbow from Randy Savage early on in a Survivor Series match. He was basically almost back to jobbing like Vinny Vegas. And then 2 months later, they've decided they're going to push him to the moon, and he's tossing 7 guys out or whatever it was in a row. And I've never been a fan of that, and it started with the '94 Rumble, where you just keep clearing the ring and clearing the ring and clear. I don't like that.
Yeah.
I want to see action. I want to see all these guys get some spots in, and I've never was a fan. So I sat there the entire time he was doing that, like, what is happening? Because we had never seen that before. Yeah. So I was pitching a fit at my TV screen in real time back then. As Bret looks for the sharpshooter, maybe he's going to make Diesel pass out from the pain and exit through the door. Might be just that simple. If you can turn a guy that size over, and he can't, not too easily anyway. Diesel, a trusty thumb to the eye to get out of that one. Just looks silly. Diesel's feet were taller than Bret. It almost looked like there when he's trying to turn him over. I think in real life, there's no way you're turning a guy that size over into the sharpshooter. I struggle sometimes with guys my size. If they're like me and my brother, when we would wrestle and things, whenever I try to lock something like that in, if he didn't want me to turn him over, I wasn't turning him over. It's just a matter of arching your stomach forward, or whatever you want to call it, to prevent that from happening. So you got to work with the guy. And that was nice for Diesel's size, that Russian leg sweep. Good job there by the shit man.
According to that fan in Anaheim, but
according to Stone Cold, you take the S and put it in front of your Hitman, and that's what I think about you.
Yeah, I love that promo. Got my exact opinion of Bret Hart. Good times.
I think Austin's best promos on Bret were actually pre-Survivor Series. 96? Yeah.
I think Austin after the King of the Ring that's some of the best Austin to me. Before he just blows up and just explodes. Right. I think I love that stuff that he did with Gorilla. The Pillman stuff is awesome. Bret Hart, he was just coming into his own, man, with anybody. He didn't care.
They let him go, and he showed him what he had. Low blow. And then a double low blow. Bret trying to climb out of the cage, Diesel with the low blow, and then Bret drops onto the top rope and crotches himself. So, double time.
We're coming to the finish here.
Both guys are down. We've got to be. There's less than 4 minutes left in the entire pay-per-view. This must end very quickly.
This match has been really good, to be honest with you.
I'm actually very shocked because when I was doing notes for the Monday Warfare show, when Dave rated this show, he was not a fan of this match at all. And I'm not saying Dave's decisions are the be-all, end-all, because they're not. Believe me, I've seen some of his... I mean, he put over how great the Thunderdome looked, in 89. So, but... I'm really, really, really shocked because I thought this could go awry because it is a cage match after all. They are limited and it is Diesel involved. But no, I'm pleasantly surprised. This has been very enjoyable. Not a great match, but I have no problem sitting here and watching it. What is that? We've never seen this before either. The Undertaker rips through the canvas. Undertaker, Diesel about had the match won. He was crawling out the door as the Undertaker rips through the canvas and pulls Diesel down to hell. And the Hitman doesn't give a shit. He's like, I'm just going to win. And he climbs over the cage, drops down, and Bret Hart picks up the win. He'll go on to WrestleMania to defend against Shawn Michaels. Match went 19 minutes and 13 seconds. The Hitman wins as the dry ice, steam, or whatever that is, coming, smoke machine, I suppose. Is that what they say?
Or something like that. Oh. I don't know. I'm assuming it's something like that. But
I think that's, maybe it's just a smoke machine.
And rips his, his pants.
Now, I think Undertaker pulls Diesel to hell there. Diesel pulls himself back out with his pants. Wow, it's funny to see Diesel in a knee pad because we've never seen Diesel without pants in the WWF anyway and beyond. So it's kind of funny to see Diesel in actually athletic wear, if you will. But I believe Nash said the original plan when he went under the ring was he was supposed to come out with a big gray streak in his hair as well, but they couldn't really get it done. So that would have been interesting.
Been interesting indeed. To go back to the match, I think the biggest thing for me was they scrapped this idea at Survivor Series because it was going to hinder them a little bit, and I felt like they did a really good job of coming up with a story inside this cage.
Now, don't get me wrong, though, Steve. I think the Survivor Series match was much better than this. I would rate it a lot higher than this.
I agree.
So I think I still say good call, but I do agree with you. Had this been at the Survivor Series, it would have been offensive.
No, absolutely not. That's what I was trying to get at. I love this visual right here.
Undertaker
so cool.
standing on top of the cage, raising his arms as Diesel backs up the aisle looking at him. So Diesel cost the Undertaker the world title on 2 occasions at the Rumble and this past week on Raw. And now Undertaker returns the favor, coming up from under the ring, ripping open the mat and pulling Diesel down to hell, at least briefly. And Bret Hart escapes the cage, walks out with the title, and now we have Undertaker and Diesel set up for WrestleMania. So they did an excellent job setting up all the big matches for WrestleMania here on this simple 2-hour throwaway in your house pay-per-view.
Yeah, they're figuring it out. This is the first one before Mania, so they definitely utilized it to its full potential of developing matches for WrestleMania. And what do we got coming out of this? We got Vader and Yoko. We got a Shawn and Bret. We got Taker and Diesel. And did Piper announce another one? I don't think so.
No, just yeah. No, you're right. Yep.
But the three big main event matches are signed and sealed and delivered. So
and you have to presume at this point you're going to get Goldust and Razor.
Yeah.
As the Undertaker closes the show in the ring. Job well done. I mean, bravo. I would clap right now if I was on video, but I'm not, so I won't. But really good job, man, getting over the stuff for WrestleMania while putting on an entertaining show for right now. Like, I don't feel ripped off. Some of those early in your houses, man, for not even $9.99, questionable. This one, man, got more than my money's worth. Job well done there by the WWF. We got Shawn and Owen, and then that cage match was perfectly good, too. The angle with Yoko and Vader to further that for WrestleMania. Good job from top to bottom.
I agree. The matches themselves may not have been the greatest, but this is everything you'd want in this $10 2-hour pay-per-view. You got your WrestleMania kind of, the groundwork's there. It's all laid. It's just developing and piling on top of it. So, it's really good, man. It seems like so long ago that we watched the Crybaby match, because that's how good those last 2 matches were.
Yeah, they really separated the show, and it wasn't even a long show. It was a short pay-per-view. And
it was
I
a
agree.
short one.
Yeah.
Razor and Kid was good. Kid was selling like $1 million.
Oh my God, Kid was on the money here on tonight.
Yeah.
Probably the best he's looked in quite a while, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So this was a fun show. I was not expecting it. I've seen this a few times, but
now even the dumpster came to work tonight, man. It was a fun show from beginning to end. Really
on the card, but yeah, you're right. He did good. I mean, it's amazing. Triple H getting decent matches out of these gimmicks that's just not getting over unless they're with him. Yeah. And so he's doing an excellent job just establishing himself. So you can see they got some players. It's just getting them from point A to point B and beyond, and it takes time. They've been at 3 years now, 2 years, where they're trying to flip the script on what they're going to be as far as in-ring and getting rid of the monsters and talent taking over, not charisma. And they're slowly getting there. It's a process. So,
well, you walked into this one saying you're not sure how fun this one was going to be, but I thought it was pleasantly surprising to me. It was a very good show from top to bottom overall. And the Yoko and Bulldog match was like 5 minutes, so again, not too offensive. I really enjoyed this one. It was snuck up on me, to be honest with you.
To be honest, the worst match of this whole dang show was Tatanka and Jake in
the pre-show. Yeah,
that was the freebie. So,
right.
Yeah, again, it was a fun show, man. Yeah, I had fun doing it.
And the next time we return, because we already have Super Brawl for February '96 in the books, you guys can also check that out on patreon.com/WrestleCopia here.
Oh, Lord. Here we go.
Enter at your own risk. But upcoming next, we're going to be doing WCW Uncensored and WrestleMania 12. Talk about a tale of two cities there. Two completely different type of shows, two completely different type of main events, and they both suck in their own ways for completely different reasons. And I can't wait to call the Alliance to End Hulkamania Doomsday Cage match anyway. I don't know about the Shawn and Bret Iron Man match, but we'll be getting there really soon, Steve, man. I really appreciate you doing this in your house with me.
It was fun, man. Thanks for having me.
All right, guys. You guys please continue to subscribe to WrestleCopia here on the patreon.com website, because we'll continue to bring you more pay-per-views here from the Monday Warfare era, the Monday Night War era, I should say, for the Monday Warfare show, as well as Coliseum videos and a whole lot of other good stuff on the horizon. Until next time, this is Ray Russell, and for Steve Eckstadt saying, we'll see you soon here on patreon.com/WrestleCopia.
That thing he wears on his face should tell him that that's not where your jockstrap goes. However, in the case of Vader, maybe that's where it belongs, because he's nuts.